is that can be present. And you know, I don't always think that some of our bad habits are the answer. Some of the drugs and alcohol habits we have. This is a bad time of year for those things, and I'm just so mindful of that also. That I was speaking to somebody the other day, and I challenged them because they were starting to drink a little bit, and I'd ask them. I said, before you drink, would you write down three things you're grateful for? And it couldn't be the same thing every day, but if you did drink every day, then you'd write down three things you're thankful for on a piece of paper. And then before you go to bed that night, you got to read them out loud, because I'd like for you to be able to be aware of those before you start drinking and when you go to bed.
Mhm.
And I asked him to let me know about them. So kind of the catch was, you got to tell me about them. And for the first couple of days, he would do it, but then I didn't hear from him for a couple of days. And guess what? He wasn't drinking. He chose not to drink because he had discovered some things he was grateful for. It's not a trick. It's not anything fancy. It's just, let's deal with the things that we can be grateful for, because when we start these habits, drugs and alcohol are depressants. They take you down. So
Yeah.
we got to look for ways to stay in a good space, and that's our responsibility overall. So
Yeah, I completely agree with that. And it's interesting because I would say that hope, is probably one of the greatest things that we can breathe into another individual
absolutely,
as we're being given the privilege of being able to work with them.
that's right.
And, I definitely feel the same way. And I always, and it doesn't matter how absolutely emotionally unraveled the individual is. Um, you know, we always allow space for that, but then we allow the reframe and say, okay, all right, yeah.
Yeah,
So, how is it though that you'd like to feel? Can you visualize yourself on the other side? And what does that look like? What does it look
mm.
like when you're actually successful at championing your own cause?
They haven't normally thought of that far out. They have not normally
Exactly.
thought of it.
And all of a sudden, it does not matter how emotionally um, expressive or unraveled or, you know, uh, unable they are to stop the emotional bleed, right?
Right,
By just
right,
asking that question, it automatically just, wow,
right,
I did not even think about that, because I've
right.
always been caught in this loop of, well, holidays are really tough for me because I don't have anybody, or this is when this happened to me. And so I'm going, and that's the way our brains work. It's a totally normal
Right.
and healthy thing
Right.
that it's to be expected that that's going to be how it is. But it's
Right.
up to us to be able to bring our brains up to, almost 2020, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And say, yeah, we know how you work. However, by practicing these things like a reframe or the ability to be able to have hope via a beautiful vision of something in the future for yourself,
Right.
when you actually get your happy ending, when you actually are able to see yourself thriving,
Right.
it's possible.
Right. Yes, because again, not a Hallmark card. We can't bring, sometimes the requests are beyond belief or beyond ability. Can't bring anybody back. Not going to happen.
Right.
But what you can do is remember well. And we get lost sometimes, and I lost family members are pretty common. Both my parents are passed, so I'm very aware of what that time meant. But I don't remember it, and I can't have Christmas because my parents are gone. I can remember them even more for the fun times we did have when
Mhm.
they were here. So
Yeah.
that's the thing we have to be mindful of. They weren't all bad times; they were good times, and it may seem sad now, but if you can remember them rightly, it's a better memory and it'll last a lot longer.
Yeah, I think that's beautiful. I do. I think it's grieving is part of this season,
It is. It absolutely is.
and it's okay. And I think that people just need the permission to also be okay with the fact that grieving is part of this season.
Yeah. I mean, it's not. I mean, to be sad, parents aren't here, and I can say that, speak from that personal perspective. It's
Mhm.
normal and right. It's okay, but that doesn't mean it's you know. It, but I also know that you know, uh, that the reality is that they couldn't last forever, nor will I. So, so I have to keep that in perspective. But, in the end, I get an opportunity to create my own Christmas. It's not about what they used to do. It's now what I get to do as, a parent. And, so that's just kind of the role.
Yeah, yeah, I really love that because I think it gives another perspective. And for me, I usually take the perspective of, well, what did that teach you? What does it teach you? Because it's information. Yes, grieving and all of this is a process, and it's all part of who we are. And how can we honor ourselves in that and allow ourselves that? Um, Yet be able to apply it in a way that it empowers us to be able to enjoy life now, in the now.
I think that goes back to what we talked about in the very beginning. You got to be kind to yourself. You
Yes.
have to find a mindful. You got to own your expectations, be real, but also give yourself a break. Why wouldn't you? You know, uh, and if you can manage your expectations and be truthful with yourself, then you might be surprised how good things do happen for you.
Mhm.
And sometimes the expectation gets so much in the way. I keep
Yes.
talking about that, but and it's also having the right people around you, having somebody around you that understands you, that can join you, and but also know when to tell people get away, and it's not really telling them get away. It's you be smart enough to walk away without
Yes.
giving them any power. You can walk away, and it's no slight on anybody, but it's a choice you make, and that's the gift you have to choose on your own. So it's a
That's
big deal.
right. And choices create freedom.
So I've heard, yes, that's true. Absolutely.
Where did
Absolutely.
you hear that from?
I think I've heard it from you a couple times. That's a great conversation topic. It has been.
Yeah, yeah. But just choosing to process things and to be able to have awareness so that you can create a choice.
Right.
And I think that that's beautiful. And I think, you know, I really appreciate us being able to have this conversation because my
Yeah.
hope is that we can help to provide realistic expectations. I think that that's the theme of today, right? Realistic
A little bit. That's
expectations
kind of where we landed with it. Yeah.
of how our holiday season is going to be, and how it is this time around isn't necessarily how it's going to be next time, but who we are today is, by being informed, is better than who we were yesterday.
That's right. Be
And
authentic. It's important. Just
yeah,
be yourself. Best person you can be anywhere.
most of the time, yeah.
I've heard.
Except if you're Aunt Gertrude.